He left on a Tuesday, not a Sunday, not after a big fight, not after years of crying and begging. A Tuesday. I had just packed my daughter's lunch. I had leftover rice in a container because we were trying to save money. I had $47 in my account and a bill due the next morning for $110. And he left on a Tuesday. Just walked out the door, like he was going to get milk. He never came back. I remember standing in the kitchen, the lunchbox still in my hand, my daughter sitting at the table eating her toast, completely unaware that the whole world had just shifted beneath us. And I thought, how am I going to keep the lights on? This is that story. I wasn't always like this. Struggling, I mean. I grew up in a small town. We weren't rich, but we had enough. My mother worked 2 jobs, and she never complained about it. Not once. Looking back, I think she was trying to show me what strength looks like. I just didn't understand it then. I met Daniel when I was 26. He had this confidence about him, this way of walking into a room and making everyone feel like things were going to be okay. I was young enough to think confidence was the same as security. We got married fast. Too fast, honestly. Within a year, I was pregnant with Lily. And I was so happy. I was genuinely, completely happy. I left my job at the accounting firm because Daniel said I didn't need to work. He made enough. He said, "You take care of Lily in the house. I'll take care of everything else." I want you to really hear that line because I didn't hear it the way I should have. I'll take care of everything else. What he meant was, you give up your independence and I'll decide what you get. People on the outside probably thought we were fine. Normal house, nice car, he had a good job. But inside that house, I was lonely in a way I still don't have words for. Daniel was always working, or at least that's what he said. Evenings, weekends, always busy, always something more important. I'd have dinner ready and he'd come home at 10 and eat standing up, scrolling his phone, not even looking at me. I'd go to bed alone most nights. Lily would crawl into my side of the bed sometimes, and I'd hold her and think, at least she loves me. At least there's one person in this house who wants to be near me. I started noticing things, small things. A name I didn't recognize saved in his phone, a receipt for a restaurant I'd never been to, him showering the moment he walked in the door. I didn't ask. I know that sounds strange, but I didn't ask because I already knew. And when you have a 3-year-old and no job and no savings of your own, knowing is terrifying. So you pretend not to know. You tell yourself stories. You keep the peace. That's what I did for 2 years. 2 years of pretending. 2 years of shrinking. 2 years of telling myself that this was just how marriage was. But then one day, the pretending stopped being enough. His phone fell off the nightstand one morning while he was in the shower. I didn't plan to look. I want you to believe that because it's true. But the screen lit up, and I saw a message, and then I read it. And then I couldn't stop reading. There were hundreds of messages, months of them. A woman named Sarah. She lived in a different city. He'd been traveling to see her every time he said he had work trips. She called him baby. He called her things I'm not going to repeat. At the end of the thread, from just 2 nights earlier, he had written, "I'm almost out of this, just a little longer." This was me, his wife, his daughter's mother. I was something he was trying to get out of. I put the phone back exactly where it had fallen. I walked to the kitchen, I made Lily's breakfast, I made Daniel's coffee, I sat across from him at the table and watched him drink it, and he didn't know. He had no idea that I knew. And in that moment, something in me went very, very quiet. Not the quiet of giving up, the quiet of deciding. I didn't confront him right away. I spent 3 days getting ready. I found our bank statements, all of them. I made photocopies of everything important. I called a legal aid number I found online. I quietly moved some cash into an account in only my name. I did all of this while making dinner, helping with homework, pretending everything was normal. Then, on a Tuesday, do you see why I remember it was a Tuesday? I sat him down after Lily went to bed, and I told him I knew. He didn't cry. He didn't apologize. He looked at me with this expression I will never forget, almost like he was relieved. He said, "Good, then we don't have to keep pretending." He went upstairs, he packed a bag, he left. No goodbye to Lily, no "we'll figure this out," no "I'm sorry." He just left. And there I was, standing in the kitchen, $47 in my account, a bill due in the morning, a 5-year-old upstairs who was going to wake up the next day and ask where Daddy was. How do you answer that question when you don't even know how to answer it yourself? The first month was the hardest month of my life. I want to be honest with you, because I think a lot of people sugarcoat this part. They skip over the darkness to get to the strength. But the darkness is part of it. It has to be. I cried in the shower every night so Lily wouldn't hear me. I mean, every single night. I'd wait until she was asleep, I'd go to the bathroom, I'd turn the water on hot, and sit down on the floor of the tub and just fall apart. And then I'd dry off, put on a calm face, and go back to being mom. There were nights I couldn't sleep. I'd lie in that bed that suddenly felt enormous, and I'd do the math in my head over and over. Rent, $1,100. Electricity, $140. Groceries, gas, Lily's school supplies, the doctor's visit she needed. And me? No job, no salary, a resume with a 4-year gap. I applied to 23 jobs in the first 2 weeks. I know because I counted. Daniel's mother called me 2 weeks after he left. I thought, maybe she's calling to check on Lily. Maybe she's calling to apologize for her son. Maybe there's a shred of decency left in that family. She called to tell me I should have tried harder. She said, and I'm not exaggerating, Daniel is a good man. A man doesn't leave unless the woman gives him a reason. I held the phone very still, and I said very quietly, "Your son was having an affair for 2 years. He left without saying goodbye to his daughter, but thank you for the call." And I hung up. She never called again. Neither did his father, his brother, or any of his family. 6 years of dinners, holidays, birthday cakes, birthday cards, and they all disappeared with him. That's something nobody tells you about a marriage ending. It's not just one person who leaves, it's a whole world that closes the door. There was a night in the 3rd month. I had paid the rent, but I had used the last of what I'd set aside. I had $11 left. $11. And I had an empty refrigerator, a box of pasta, half a bag of flour, and a daughter sleeping in the next room. I sat at the kitchen table that night, and I put my head down on my arms, and I thought, I can't do this. I really thought I couldn't. Not, I don't want to, but genuinely, I don't have the ability to keep going like this. I have given everything I have, and there is nothing left. I stayed at that table for a long time. And then I heard Lily's voice. She'd woken up and she was calling me. Not upset, just that small, sleepy voice children have when they reach for you in the dark. "Mama?" I got up from that table and I went to her. That's when something began to shift. The next morning, I made Lily pancakes with the flour and a little sugar I had left. I watched her eat them, and she looked up at me with syrup on her chin and said, "These are the best pancakes in the whole world, Mama." I wrote that down in a little notebook I kept. I still have it. I started writing things down, not because I was suddenly optimistic, I wasn't, but because I realized I needed evidence that good things were still happening, even small ones, even pancake-sized ones. That same week, I walked into a small bookkeeping firm 2 blocks from my apartment. I didn't have an appointment. I hadn't applied online. I just walked in and asked if they were hiring. The woman at the desk looked at me like I was slightly insane. But then the owner came out, a woman named Frances. She was in her early 60s, and she had this no-nonsense way about her. She looked at my resume, looked at me, and said, "You've got accounting experience, but a gap. Most people would throw this in the trash. Tell me why I shouldn't." I looked her right in the eye, and I said, "Because I raised a child alone for 3 months on almost nothing, and I never missed a bill. If I can manage that, I can manage your books." She hired me. Part-time at first, but she hired me. I'm not going to make this sound easier than it was. Working part-time while raising Lily alone was exhausting in a way that doesn't have a name. I'd drop her at school, work until 3, pick her up, come home, make dinner, help with homework, get her to bed, and then sit at my own kitchen table to study for the accounting certification I was trying to get. Some nights I fell asleep at the table with my face on the textbook. I woke up at 2 in the morning with ink on my cheek and a crick in my neck, and I thought, this is either going to break me or make me. Every single day I chose, this will not break me. Frances started giving me more work. She told me I was the most reliable person she'd hired in years. Coming from her, that meant everything. I started picking up freelance bookkeeping work on evenings and weekends. Small businesses, local restaurants, a dentist's office. Each one was another $10 in my account. Another small step. I started sleeping better. I stopped doing math in my head at night. The shower crying slowed down. Then one night, it just stopped. I didn't know then what was still coming, but something inside me was becoming unbreakable. 18 months after Daniel walked out that door, I passed my accounting certification on the first try. I cried, but not the kind of crying I'd been doing in that shower. This was different. This was, I did this. Just me, with a child and no support and no safety net and a heart that had been broken and bills that had been due and dark nights I barely made it through. I did this. Frances gave me a full-time position with benefits, real benefits, health insurance, a retirement contribution. The first time I saw my name on the health insurance card, I held it and just stared at it. Lily saw me and asked why I was looking at a plastic card like it was a diamond ring. I said, "Because I earned it, baby. We earned it." I moved us into a slightly bigger apartment, still modest, but it had a little yard. Lily planted sunflowers that first summer. They grew so tall they blocked the gate. She was so proud of those sunflowers. I bought her new school shoes that weren't from a secondhand store. I cooked a real dinner and set the table and lit a candle just for the 2 of us and said, "This is ours. Nobody can take this from us." I heard things through mutual friends who still checked in. Daniel had moved in with Sarah. Within a year, it had fallen apart. Apparently, he did the same thing to her, stayed distracted, emotionally absent, always somewhere else. She left him. He moved back to his parents' city, alone. He asked a mutual friend to pass along a message that he wanted to see Lily. The message came to me, and I sat with it for a long time. Lily had asked about her father less and less over time. Kids adapt. They find their footing. She had me, her teacher she loved, her best friend Maya, and those sunflowers in the yard. I didn't have hate in my heart for Daniel anymore. I'd worked too hard to let hate live there rent-free. But I wasn't going to open a door he'd closed so carelessly. Not yet. And then one afternoon, everything I had built was tested in a way I never expected. 2 years after the divorce was finalized, I received a letter. Not from Daniel, from his mother. The woman who had told me I hadn't tried hard enough. The woman who had hung up the story of her son's affair and replaced it with a story about my failure. The letter was 2 pages long. I'm not going to share every word of it. Those words belong to the complicated private space of someone trying to undo something they can't undo. But at the end, she wrote this: "I misjudged you. I know that now. I'm sorry for what I said. And I'm sorry my son didn't see what he had." I read that letter standing at my kitchen counter. Same kitchen where I had held that lunchbox on that Tuesday. Same counter where I had added and re-added numbers that never added up. I folded the letter carefully. I didn't feel triumph. I didn't feel satisfaction. I felt something quieter and more complete than that. I felt like the story had come full circle.
I'm telling you this story not because I want pity. I promise you, I don't want pity. I'm telling you this story because I think you might be standing in your own kitchen right now. Maybe not with a lunchbox in your hand. Maybe it's a different Tuesday, a different breaking point. Maybe it's a different person who left, or a different silence you've been sitting in. And maybe you are asking yourself the same question I asked myself. How do I keep the lights on when the money runs out? What I know now, what I wish I could have whispered to myself in that kitchen is this: the lights don't just mean electricity. They mean hope. They mean dignity. They mean the small, stubborn decision to get up one more morning and try one more time. They mean pancakes with syrup when you have almost nothing. They mean sunflowers that block the gate. They mean a little girl's sleepy voice calling mama in the dark. I kept the lights on, not because I was extraordinary, not because I had resources or luck or a safety net. I kept them on because I decided in that kitchen on that Tuesday with $47 and a broken heart that my daughter was watching me, and I was not going to show her that this was the end. The lights are on. They are so, so bright. If this story touched something in you, share it, because somewhere right now, a woman is sitting in her kitchen and she needs to know she's not alone. And if that woman is you, you are not alone. You never were.